So you being such a young, beautiful woman, how did it go, you starting educating? Because I know a lot of these women, and even the guys, they're all very, they have their little cliques. Their little guys are a little catty. They can be bitches sometimes. I'm not gonna lie. A batch of bitches.
I don't think I've heard it termed, worded that way. I don't think, but maybe I have. A batch of bitches. That's funny. So,
I'm including the men there.
yeah. So it's actually kind of, it makes me sad. That subject really kind of hurts my heart because
I don't think a lot of people see that are not in the education part.
they don't. But I don't know that they ever will. To be honest, and that's truth. I don't know that people will ever truly see it until they are on that side in the education field. I was not treated well. I started speaking my third or almost fourth year of business, which is not really heard of a whole lot. It happens, but it doesn't happen a lot. And the first extremely large conference that I spoke at, it was 2017 or 2018, I want to say something in there. Yeah. I kind of got cold shouldered, and it's so funny because I have a very tough exterior. I've had a really hard life, and I built that tough exterior to protect myself, and that's what a lot of people see. However, behind closed doors, I was like, what did I do? I just felt sick. Like I felt like I didn't belong. And I was like, then I start questioning myself. Do I not belong here? What am I actually doing here? These people clearly, I don't fit in. I don't know what it is about me. And again, that's where my husband's wisdom came in. And he said, you need to go buy yourself a pair of designer shoes. And again, it caused a fight between us. And I said I could feed a family of 4 for what one pair of those shoes cost. And I argued. My husband went out and bought me a pair of Christian Louboutin shoes. And the sad part about it was that he was right. He was right that my appearance, and it wasn't that I went into this conference sloven looking. I wasn't looking, homely. My hair was brushed. I had makeup on. It wasn't that I went looking poorly.
Well, let's be honest. The industry's full of a lot of people have been there, 15, 20 years. They kind of get,
there's a lot of egos. And I think really and honestly, you need a level of confidence. Every business owner does. But I think after you are in the industry for so long, that level of confidence starts to slowly drift into almost an egotistical feel to it. And I don't think that they mean for it to, but it doesn't stop it from happening. And that's why I try really hard to...
There's a lot of cult followings in the photography industry.
Well, people have said that about me, people who love the way that I teach. And, if somebody has friction with me, they're like, they'll say something really backhanded and they'll be like, okay, you and your cults can just stay in this, group or class or whatever. And I've had that term thrown at me, and, I certainly would never want anybody to think that I'm like a cult leader at all, but I am very passionate about, what I'm teaching, what I'm talking about. So
a lot of people are afraid to speak up against what's going on with different things.
Oh yeah, for sure. And that, that cliquish feel, again, it's so heartbreaking because
very few think they can control everything.
Yeah, that's true. Again, that's not something that photographers, whether they're starting out or whether they're not in the speaking, they wouldn't know. Because it's not something that's like, again, it's because photographers don't speak out. They don't speak out when they see something stolen. They don't, they won't stick up for one another. They don't look out for one another. And I really am...
Which I'm not sure why, but...
I think it's because they worry about their careers. If you want the truth, well, even if you didn't want the truth, I'm going to say the truth anyways.
I want the truth.
No, I always am speaking about it, and I think that's a huge key again in success is being able to stand your ground, and the reason why people are worried about it is because they don't want to be blacklisted. So-and-so may be, an ambassador for, this person or this company, and they're scared that if they say something to them, that's going to come back and hurt their business. But at some point in time, and they're not wrong, that thought process isn't necessarily wrong.
It's been known to happen. Yeah.
People will use their power in the industry to blacklist you. Absolutely. It happens. Again, that's sad, but it does happen. It would be ignorant to act like it doesn't. But that's where I believe that if you are a true artist, a true business owner, then your reputation will always exceed whatever X, Y, and Z has said about you.
Yeah, eventually you could work through that.
Oh, absolutely. I believe so. But I do think that as an industry as a whole, we need to be so much better about standing up for one another and speaking out when things are being stolen or taken or, whatever. It needs to be addressed. And to me, it's not like it's not that different from any other industry, whether it's creative or not. That kill or be killed,
of course,
mentality is everywhere. It is. I mean, it doesn't matter, what you do. When I was working at David's Bridal for 5 years, it was a very cutthroat industry, and I'm not that way. Like, I'm not going to do somebody dirty to get a sale. You know what I mean? That's just I'm not comfortable with it. It doesn't make me, at the end of the day, I want to feel good about myself. And, I'm not cutting throats to make myself be known in the industry so that I can be, have a good feeling.
Well, I've been in the background myself. I like to listen. I've learned a lot about many photographers. They probably don't like that I know. I haven't said anything, but, that could change.
You look like you have like vengeance in your eyes.
No, I'm just saying. You just never know.
It's kind of attractive that you have that vengeance thing going on.
Not vengeance.
For you.
I'm
just stating, huh?
Just stating those words out there.
Yeah. Well, it's true. Unfortunately, you're not saying anything that's not true. And all I can do is try to use the platforms that I have to speak out and correct people when they're wrong. And
because there's been many scandals out there.
Yeah.
Photographers win their own photography competition. I mean, I've seen, just workshops, people selling out 10 of them, then never showing up.
Oh, taking some big shots there, huh?
Not naming anybody.
Well, I know who you're.
People
I know.
Paying, or not paying photographers to teach on their platform, and then giving them $200 later. Not even making a comment. Don't even know what they're doing. People coming up to teach a class, and then their computer doesn't work, and then they just end up talking about their sex life.
Oh my god!
I mean, these are just the
Those
few.
are all things that have actually happened.
These are all just minor stories.
Oh my heavens! So then that leads me to wonder, is there hope for the industry then? Because I've seen it, you've seen it, we've seen stuff that's going on. So is there hope for, the other creatives out there that are truly trying to run a successful business? Or is this trend of investing money in areas that isn't really going to help them, is that going to continue?
I'm figuring out how serious people are about photography myself. What they're choosing to spend their money on, it's interesting. They get super hyped about things that are called new and innovative, and I haven't really seen anything new or innovative.
Huh. Yeah, no, because every now and again I see something that truly stops me in my tracks, and I have inspiration. Like I recently did an underwater session that was inspired by Craig Lemire. He's a very good friend of mine. His was on land, and the woman had tassels on her hat, and it was in motion. And I thought, I mean, it stopped me in my tracks. It was a very simple. Again, it's not. People feel like they have to recreate the wheel. They don't. They have to just see things how they want to see them. But his image moved me, and I was like, oh my God, I want to, I'm inspired by this. So I found a dress that had tassels, but I photographed it underwater. And I photographed it how I wanted to photograph it. So, I don't even know if anybody would know that it was inspired by Craig Lemire, unless if I stated it, which I always do. If my image is from somebody that I know, I'm always going to tag them and say inspiration has come from this person. Now, every now and again, I'll have a client that pulls up images and, they're like, I love this. I want to do something like this. And I tell them, I don't copy another artist, copy and paste. I won't do it. I said, no, we can do it something similar. That's not a problem. But in those cases, I never know where the original came from. And in that case, it's difficult to even know, where this client may have gotten this picture from. Was it Pinterest? Because if that's the case, it's a long downhill slope that you're going to have to try to see if you can find the original creator of. But even in those cases, I still make it my own so that I don't necessarily feel that need to try to track down the original to tag the original photographer, because again, I try to use my own lighting techniques, different posing, different colors, different, whatever. Because, again, clients, at my level now, as a matter of fact, my client that, booked not long ago, she today texted me because I was just confirming some of my ideas. I had sent her some of my sketches, and I was like, I just want to make sure, are you okay with the sheer part of this gown? And her exact words were, I trust you. 100%. I trust you. And she was like,
that's the goal as a photographer.
Yeah. And
be your client.
Well, I think photographers should have different goals. Not everybody's going to want to be, where maybe what I do, where they're actually sketching things out. Not everybody's going to want to do that. And that's okay. That's the beauty of the photography industry, is that everybody should have their own goals, their own dreams. And, whether they're volume or working with schools, or, if they want to photograph a lot of things, destination. Yeah. I mean, there's so many different areas of it that it's just, it's just a matter of, again, who are you and what do you want to do? But yeah, if I'm ever getting inspiration from someone, I always tag them, especially if I know them. But back to your original point, I don't see a ton of images that stop me in my tracks. And that is because, again, unfortunately, photographers they kind of get a bad rap. They are known for kind of copying or pulling inspiration a lot and not finding themselves and photographing what's in their own mind.
Yeah, I've noticed that. I mean, my business is next level photography, and then I made that 5 years ago, and now I can't see any ad or any photographer saying anything about next level or level up. I almost hate the name of my business because every photographer in their world uses next level up.
Yeah,
it's a little tiring in there.
Yeah, and
so now I have to keep changing.
Okay. Well, it's
they can't come up with something themselves.
That's what I was going to say. The beautiful part about that, while it is frustrating to a degree, what is that saying? That it's a form of flattery. Not really. Yes and no. I mean, when you've put in hours of work to go to a location and find it and research it, and somebody's like, "Hey, where is this location?" It stings you a little bit because you're like, I just spent hours of my life finding this location, and you want me to just give you so you want me to hand you all of my work for nothing? It stings a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, my logo, I spelled level LVL, and then who would think else to try to do that? I mean,
I don't know, but I do see LVL quite a bit. I do, unfortunately.
Yeah. It's just
that is unfortunate.
The way it goes, just the logo, but apparently they can't come up with any ideas.
Well, what the good part about that is they can only copy what you've done. They can't copy what you're going to do. That's what I always tell everybody. But again, that comes back down to how bad do you want it? Are you going to be willing to put the effort in to continue to reinvent yourself and innovate yourself? Because I agree with you. It does get tiring for sure to have people. Well, but I I don't have that a ton because a lot of my work I'm making myself. So, I'm sketching things myself. I'm creating things myself. So it's a little more complicated to copy, my artwork because there is a lot of like home made or I'll have my vendors specifically work on a gown special to me. You know what I mean? So those things are a little more difficult to copy when you are making things yourself or having things made specifically for one session.
Okay.
Yeah.
So some of the two biggest things I see going on right now is just one, I've seen a lot of trouble with workshops, people getting scammed. What's your advice there for people if they're looking to go to attend or learn from anybody just in the industry?
Just research. It's really tough. I won't lie, it's really tough for people who are just getting into the industry or for people who have been in the industry. There's two issues. If you're just getting into the industry, you have no idea who to trust.
Oh, you don't even know who anybody is, no?
No. So that's going to boil down to your research. You need to look at reviews. You need to look at their activity on social media. You need to look at what the activity on social media is for. Is it actual client work? Are they working with clients? Are they just doing like editorial sessions? Are they, what exactly are they doing? Because you need to know what you need to learn and you need to know who's going to be best for that subject. So if it is something with business, are they running an actual business or is their business making money off of other photographers?
So if they're, advertising that their 10K sale club they have, and they're not actually photographing anymore, but you wouldn't know that if you didn't look up their actual studio.
Right. Yeah.
Some photographers I've seen, they moved and then they never updated their Google, but they're still selling out their workshops, but they're obviously not photographing anybody.
Well, this is what I'll say about creatives. We creatives are extremely bright people with a certain area. Outside of that, it almost is like you're just going off of somebody else's word. You're going off of a well put together ad. You're going off of he said, she said. And that can be very dangerous because depending on the person.
They have a following because they
have a following.
Influencers or something.
Right. They all they've done is photographed influencers.
They've probably never been paid before for an actual photo shoot.
They have a spouse that's supporting them and, they've been able to build their business to, crazy levels because they have a marketing team of 20 people. You know what I mean?
Well, that's another thing I noticed. Your story is very interesting. Again, speaking of that, like you said, a lot of the other photographers, it's not really mentioned, but they did have some sort of easier start.
Oh, yeah. Actually, my husband and I were just talking about this like a week ago. And
they'll kind of play how they started, but I don't know if it's always
actually know the truth. Yeah. But again, that's after years of being in the industry. So when I am teaching and I'm telling people that I started from nothing.
Because a lot of people you're teaching, that's where exactly they're starting.
From nothing. Yeah. Or maybe they're, working a job while trying to build it. But to me, that is starting from nothing because if they have another job, even if it's a good job, to still be able to pay for a house, pay for, putting food on the table. We all know how the prices of everything has gone up, over the last several months. It's crazy. But
living in grandma's apartment for free.
No, I wasn't. But I genuinely did not have a dollar to my name.
Didn't come from a 6-figure job?
Did not at all. I had another job and I got paid $365 every 2 weeks. Now, back then...
Not wealthy parents?
No, don't have wealthy parents at all. My husband didn't have wealthy parents. He had typical parents, you know what I mean? That were smart with their money. They, again, that typical boomer age, save, pay cash, that was my husband's family. My family, we didn't have anything. My stepdad, after my parents got divorced, my stepdad wanted to appear like he had money, but he had a lot of debt. And when that relationship ended and the tragedy happened in my family, my mom was left with over $200,000 worth of debt to deal with. So we really didn't have anything to our name. I had one drawer of clothing. All my clothing could fit in one drawer of
People
8
tend
sets
to-
of drawers.
They kind of missed the step from where you were to how
Where
you
we
got there. They
Yeah,
kind of see
to
where
where we
and
are
sometimes photographers tend to focus on where you are there. They don't realize all the stuff in between.
Oh, absolutely not. And again, this is coming back down to, are they just coming into the industry and they're trying to figure out, okay, who is this person? I see this, fairly young person in the industry and she's got her nails done and
Let's be honest, beautiful, gorgeous woman that,
Stop.
that was a nice little touch there.
I saved my hair for my husband. Sorry.
We'll see what you say from me later.
Anyways, so yeah, they kind of paint a picture of who I am. And I do own designer clothes. I have designer bags. I have my Cartier bracelets, my rings. I'm not wearing my diamond necklace. But my husband and I, we just came back from Scotland not long ago. That was a trip for our daughter. And I also did have some work, that was being done in Scotland as well. But it started just as a gift to my daughter, a gift to our daughter, for graduating. She graduated early. And so it was a celebration for her. So we are able to, we have the flexibility of being able to do really, really nice things. And I'm grateful for them, but I don't ever want to, people, like you said, they do tend to forget that, where I came from to where I am now, even people that have seen the whole journey,
Not an immediate process.
no, it's not at all. And it's continuous. In today's age, that instant gratification
Very
that
much.
people strive for it will be the death of a lot. That instant gratification
Maybe that's why they enjoy these photo workshops. They come, they get excited, they take some awesome pictures.
Absolutely.
But then, it's
that
one
instant,
time.
that instant dopamine hit.
It's
Yeah.
that. I got this awesome picture.
Yep.
But
It's
then
going to build my business immediately.
that's not how it works.
It's not. And that's a painful lesson to learn, though.
But they keep doing it.
I don't know if it's people that continue to do it versus the people that have now fallen out of the industry and there's a new influx of people and they're following that same path. So again, that's why, I'm happy to be able to be here and talk with you, because I think creating awareness and just educating people on the proper way to learn. So, I did not go to college. I barely finished high school. And that was just because I was so eager to work. And my first job was developing film. I was so eager to have a job that, I would absolutely probably not have my diploma if my mother was not like, you need to have your diploma. But I didn't go to college, and everything that I learned in my business was mainly myself and my husband. It wasn't, because like I said, back then, there was nothing in the business area. I mean, there was very few speakers and teachers in the business field. But even then, the business information that was being taught didn't fit to what I wanted to do. And that was a painful process to learn. I spent money I didn't have following one person's business model, and it was outdated. And unfortunately, the business side of photography, it changes all the time. And there's not enough educators out there that are talking about how to make money today. They are talking about how they made money 2 years ago, 4 years ago, 10 years ago. And now they're just making money off of other photographers. But
we're also not teaching photographers to learn to
innovate.
and think for themselves, figure out their
Correct.
moves. They need to learn how to figure out the moves for themselves instead of just trying to depend on this.
Well, I have absolutely, and
They need to change the whole way of thinking almost.
Some of my students can even vouch for this. I've told them, there's nothing more I can teach you. I have given you the blueprint. I've given you the lock and the key. Now it is up to you to be the captain of your own ship. You're going to have to look at this blueprint that I have given you and say, oh, I need a set of stairs here instead of a hallway. And they have to build their business. So, that can almost sound like a catch-22 because you asked earlier, how do you go about finding a speaker and teacher? And the truth of the matter is again, research, but you want to make sure that whoever you're learning from is also doing research into you. So is the teacher learning your business? Are they learning your demographic? Are they talking with you on the phone, which you have to remember too. Speakers and teachers have a lot of people reaching out to them all the time. So they can't just spend their time all day helping you with a problem or an answer, to a question that's really a deep question. There is no simple answer. And they're looking for a simple answer, but there's not one there. So,
there's different answers for everyone.
And that's the thing. Every business owner should have different goals than the person next to them.
Be able to learn and figure out how to work through that themselves eventually.
Right. And to teach that.
That's more important,
is what's more important as a business owner, to teach how to actually, again, run a business and have a business mindset. I can tell you right now, I am not the most talented photographer on the planet at all. Not even close. I'm just not.
I don't know if I would say that.
Oh, no, I can say that with 100% confidence. I know I'm not.
The best looking, I mean.
Thank you. I appreciate it. But I would rather be a better business owner than a photographer. Now, that's not to mean that I don't stop working on my craft. I'm always trying to figure out how to be a better photographer, how to be a better artist with my light, my usage of light. I'm always trying to improve that. But I would rather be a better business owner than the best photographer in a room full of photographers. So I can tell you I'm definitely not the most talented, but I do have a good understanding of business for sure.
Yes, because like you said, take a pretty picture, but if it doesn't give you any money, that picture ain't worth much.
Nope, and that's what my husband said from the very beginning. He was like, that's awesome. I love that for you. I love that journey for you, but how is it going to bring you money? And that was when my wheels started to turn. So again, teaching people how to actually think for themselves, but think for themselves as a business owner in a creative field. That's what's missing. Okay. Not anymore, but that's what was.
So the other thing, people are concerned about AI's taking over. They're going to take over our jobs. You see AI taking over our jobs because again, we're not just selling a pretty picture. A lot of people, I think they misunderstand that. That our job is just to make a picture.
No, yeah, that's not only is that highly devaluing what we do, but it's so much more complicated than that. But yes, that is the general idea that people think is, if I take a pretty picture, that's automatically going to bring me clients. Now, AI, I find myself right smack in the middle. I see benefits, but I also see a lot of images looking awfully the same. And again, is that really why we were here? To just create images that look very similar to one another, because you have to think of it again from a consumer mindset. If they're looking and they're seeing a bunch of images that are all the same, what is their brain going to tell them to do? Price check. They're going to start looking for who can do this idea the cheapest. So we really don't have anybody to blame but ourselves when people are price checking you with other, artist. And that's on us as a collective whole in the photography industry. That's the entire photography industry, because again, that energy that's put out to compete against one another instead of actually being a better artist and getting that business, making money, and actually letting this be a career. It's that drive to learn to photograph, get that behind the scenes, be part of this, XYZ group so that you can learn to photograph like this person, be this person.
They be that person or be behind them, they'll take them somewhere in their career.
Right. And I want to be the difference. I want to be the wall that hits and shatters. Because progress. Oh, is that Yellowstone?
Yeah.
I love Yellowstone.
Oh, do you?
Yeah, I do. I'm country at heart.
I love Yellowstone too. Me and Rip have a very nice beard that we have that in common.
I know. Can I touch your beard?
No, you can touch it all you want.
Really?
I don't let a lot of people touch it, but you can go ahead.
Really? You don't mind?
Yeah.
Oh my God. It's like a shag rug or something.
Yeah.
I like it.
It's very soft.
It is. Anyways, I don't even remember what you were asking me. I'm sorry. I got distracted.
You got distracted?
Yes.
We're talking about, the AI and everything.
Being different. Yeah, I want
the softness
to be
of your legs.
I don't remember talking about the softness of my legs.
Well, maybe that's where we're going next time.
No. So I want to be that person that helps people know that they should stand out.
The progress.
Oh, that's where you got me with the Yellowstone. Yes. I want to be, which I can't remember exactly what he said in Yellowstone, but it's kind of to that degree. Like, I do want to be that wall that kind of breaks that mold of competing and this constant, learning to photograph like the same person over and over and over again. I want to be that change that people want to see. Even on one of my TikTok posts recently, somebody came and commented and they were like, we need this too. Nobody believes that I can make money from this career. We need somebody that, is breaking the numbers down. And that was actually based off of one of the Artists of the Roundtable posts. I was responding to a comment because they said that, anybody who pays $250 for an hour of photographing time is gullible and stupid. And, they were just downgrading the entire field. And I will always take that risk to stand out, not only for the industry, but for each creative that read that comment and was probably like, I'm never going to be able to succeed. So I will always stand up and stand out for them. It's just my personality. Can you guess what my sign is?
I'm going to say a Leo.
Why do you say Leo?
You just have this presence when you walk in the room. I just can't help but stare.
I am a Leo.
It's almost like a book, I go from here all the way.
A book?
Yeah, you start up here.
And you read all the way down? So I'm a book. So I'm predictable?
No, not predictable. You're very interesting. It's a story I'd like to learn and then watch the movie of. Okay. Or make a movie, depending on what you're doing later.
I was pretty good at acting in high school. So
you won't be acting with me.
Okay. But no, I do genuinely, I will always speak out for other creatives and other artists because it hurts my heart to see how the general public views photography and the creative field in general. It is, but it can be stopped. And as long as I'm alive, I'll be fighting for it.
Well, we appreciate it.
Yeah. Thank you for having me.
We appreciate it, Karen. The knowledge you shared and continue to share.
Well, I appreciate you having me on your podcast, Andrew.
Yeah, we look forward to having you on more.
Okay. I'll wait for your call.
You may not have to wait. Oh, look at that. See how easy it is, guys? Just like that.
You're enjoying this so much.
Y'all have a good evening. I shall.
Find somebody who always makes you laugh.
She's about to have the best 2 minutes, 37 seconds of her life.
For the third time. That adds up to almost 9 minutes. Best 9 minutes of my life.
Put them all together. We're going to enjoy it.
Yeah.
So I will see y'all later.
Bye, guys.